Hi, I'm Lanny Barnes. I'm joined with my good friends, Deb Ferns, Ursula Williams, Dianna Muller, and we're going to talk about the wide variety of shooting sports. Now, one shooting sport that brought the four of us together was multi-gun, commonly known as three-gun. It's rifle, pistol, and shotgun. Now, Di's going to talk a little bit about how she got started into the sport.
Yeah, I found the shooting sports, which was just I started in pistol and then grew up to be a police officer, and I really wanted to use the shooting sports to practice my skill set. And when I found three-gun in about 2009, there was nothing I thought was the best thing ever, and I got to practice all three platforms that I actually used at work. So that's what got me into the shooting sports.
And Ursula, you have a similar but different story, right?
Similar in the sense that because I'm also in law enforcement, I actually started to do local pistol competitions in my duty rig, and then met a couple other shooters that actually participated in three-gun. They're like, you need to do it. So I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. And then a couple months later, after sleeping on it, I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try. And I absolutely fell in love with the challenge, fell in love with the people, because it doesn't matter what you look like, what your skill level is, if there's room to improve, you're totally accepted inside of it. And it's something that will actually internally push you. So I always wanted to get better, so that's why I absolutely love three-gun.
You got the three-gun bug. So
Yep.
Deb, tell us why you got into three-gun.
Totally different than all these gals. I'm a corporate meeting planner, that's my whole background. And at age 50, I decided I wanted to try a new adventure. And you know, I started out with a little bit of handgun and then saw a competition that you were all involved in, pistol, rifle, and shotgun, and went, now that's rockin'. That's rockin' and rollin'. And for me, it was just gaining that confidence, knowing I wasn't gonna become a world champion, but there was something there that grabbed me and said, you're gonna enjoy this and it's gonna make you more confident as you walk through life. I went, that's me.
Yeah, I felt that hook too. Going from biathlon, which is skiing and shooting, which I compete in 3 Olympics in, to three-gun, I saw that there's actually less running and more shooting, so that's what hooked me. No, actually, in all seriousness, I think that the challenge of moving and shooting with 3 different guns was really what hooked me, and the people. The people are absolutely amazing in the sport, the camaraderie, the lifelong friends that I've made, and things like that. It's absolutely amazing.
Well, we've talked about three-gun, but what does the shooting sports in general, what do we get out of the shooting sports? I mean, what do you take away from that in a worldly sense?
I think that with shooting sports, there's something for everybody. You know, it doesn't matter what you like to do, your ability, you know, you can do something with a firearm, and there's a competition for that.
I walk differently. You know, when we decided that I wanted to share my good experiences with other women, and we started, you know, some other camps to get that going, it was about walking differently. It was about a little more situational awareness and saying, if this can make me feel so good about myself, what could it do for other women? And that, for me, was a big thing.
A huge gain that I noticed was shooting is a perishable skill. Like, you have to stay on it. And it's also one of those skills that will actually go in other parts of your life. So it's not just competing at the range, it's also, you know, concealed carrying, you know, self-defense. You know, geez, you just feel better. Like, you feel like also in this great community to be a part of. So,
and it's that confidence you gain, right?
It's huge confidence.
Yeah, I was thinking when you were just saying that like we talked about our skill set and wanting to practice, you know, we get to be so intimate with our firearm. We know the ins and outs of it, and we don't have to think about sight picture at some point. We don't have to think about if we hear something different. And that translates not only into our law enforcement careers, but as civilians. You know, I carry on a daily basis. So it does make me feel better that I don't have to think about, I'm not so consumed with the functionality of my firearm because I'm so familiar with it. On a fun level, we get to have so much fun getting to know our guns.
Yep. There's a lot of different kinds of shooting sports. Let's break them down because not all of them require all 3 guns like the sport that we do.
Right.
Di, tell us about the handgun.
Well, when I started it with handgun alone, and I started in USPSA, which stands for United States Practical Shooting Association. But within the handgun world, there's other disciplines as well, IDPA. So people are really going to have to investigate what all the rules are and if it applies. But basically, if they have a pistol, they can go play.
Ursula, let's talk about rifle.
Rifle is something I actually started around the same time I started 3-gun. Started doing precision rifle, which is long range stuff. A lot of people kind of refer to it as a cool sniper thing to do. Is very math based, but just like any other sport, any other discipline, you need to know the rules of that game before you even start playing it. And it's one of those great things. Actually made me a much better 3-gunner by doing long range, because I can win a little bit better. So I actually excel at a lot of rifle heavy matches. I like it. I don't know, there's something about it.
But within rifle, there's still an array of different disciplines within the rifle.
Within the rifle. So not only there's precision rifle stuff, there's bench rest. You can even go super fancy into F-class and some of the other things. And if you go to your local range, local outdoor range, you can actually investigate what type of matches they have there.
And so last but not least, Deb, tell us about
Well,
shotgun.
you know, I was amazed when I was looking at what's the most dominant number of shooting sports, and it comes back shotgun. You know, trap, skeet, 5-stand, sporting place. I was amazed that the majority of, the way Americans know the majority of shooting sports is through shotgun. And I will tell you, shotgun was the hardest for me to learn for our 3-gun, but it's a blast. And of course, I go to a lot of different ranges, and Ursula's spot on. Go to the range, ask, because almost every community has shotgun sports.
So ranges are a good reference for shooting sports. There's also plenty of references online. There's literally something for everybody.
Yep, if you have a
Amen
gun,
on that.
Yep, if you have a gun, there's a sport for you.
What can someone expect going to the range or competition for the first time? Let's break down some safety.
Well, a big safety issue for me is safety glasses and hearing protection. If you wear your own glasses, that's fine, but there is a wide variety of things going on at the gun range, and it's universal when you go onto a gun range. They want to see you with safety glasses or eye protection and ear protection.
A tip that I give to newbies is tell the match director that you're a brand new shooter. This is your first match, and most of the time they will actually introduce you to a well-experienced shooter that will actually mentor you throughout the entire match, making sure that you're completely safe and you have a good experience.
One of the things I like to remind people is that we operate on a cold range, which means that we don't have loaded firearms until it's our turn to shoot and we're told to load on the line.
That's great. Now, one thing that I always recommend to new shooters is that you can go and to a match or to a range and watch and observe. There's a lot you can learn. You can even volunteer. A lot of ranges actually recommend and encourage people to volunteer because you can learn a lot about the discipline that you're looking to get into.
For free.
For free. So how does someone get prepared for a match or competition?
Well, I normally suggest newbies actually go watch their first match so they can actually come up with a list of gear that they're going to need to compete. Once they have that gear situated, they should actually search online for training courses in their respective discipline. Once all that is settled, they have all the nerves settled and they decide to show up, there you go.
You know, there's no replacement for live fire and actually going to a match, but especially with ammo as scarce as it is these days, people shouldn't overlook the benefit and the value of dry firing. And dry firing is basically just practicing your fundamentals, whether it be your draw, your trigger press, without any ammo.
Deb, what do you think?
Well, you know, one of the things I use a lot is I use my Umarex Airsoft because I have it in handgun and I have it in an AR platform. And I can get BBs all day long. And this gives me the opportunity. I actually do this in my dog's kennel. I kick the dogs out and I actually run this in the dog kennel and set up targets. And you know what? It's fun and it does give me some trigger time.
We've given you a lot of great tips on how to get started in matches or competitions. How do people get a hold of you guys if they have any questions?
Just visit my website, Babes with Bullets.
Pretty simple. Or you can reach out to me. I'm on Instagram under Ursula.308. And I also have a podcast. I actually go through a lot of new shooter, orientations type stuff. And that's on Centermass Podcast 2 on Instagram.
And you can find me on Instagram at Die3Gun, Die, D-I, the number 3, gun.
You can find me on social media at Lanny Oakley. We'll see you at the range.